Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, you must keep it in your possession at all times. Not driving through, the drive throughout. The awful Librian. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You must keep it in your possession at all times. Quite a few years ago I worked for a small company that provided vehicles on lease to people. More specifically to those with impaired credit. As these people would not get approved for traditional methods of finance, our rates were significantly higher. How much higher? Heaps. A $20,000 loan over 3 years at rate of 20% means repayments of about $175 pw. We would charge, on average, an extra $100 to $125 on top. We'd include registration costs, insurance, a yearly service, as well as cover a set of new tires over the 3-year term. But remember, it's a lease and you have to hand the car back to us. But people with bad credit can't take the cheaper option and came to us. My job was simple. Take an application, get their supporting docs and send all of it through to the credit team who were in head office in a different state. If they got approved, because there are those that even we wouldn't extend a line of credit to, then I'd put them into one of the many cars we had in the fleet. I'd run through contract docs, get signatures, take their deposit and smile and wave as they drove off in their leased vehicle. The work was a bit tedious and processes were long and convoluted when they didn't need to be. Some customers felt entitled to getting a vehicle just because we helped those with bad credit and were very angry and belligerent when we declined them. Everything started off well and the commission for getting customers into cars was very healthy. I enjoyed the job as there were genuine people that had come into some difficulty, but were great customers and just needed to be given a chance despite what their credit file said. For these customers I would even stay back outside of office hours, so they didn't have to take time off work to come sign and collect their car. Once I became comfortable, I started to streamline the application process in an attempt to make life easier for everyone. I had gained enough experience that I could tell by looking at an applicant's docs if the credit team would approve them or not. Rather than get an applicant's hopes up and burden the credit team, I'd politely reject their application without sending it to head office. Head office didn't like this because they felt I had become a law unto myself. I was chewed out as I was not authorized to approve or decline applications and firmly ordered to follow the process. Soon enough the credit team became shitty as they became inundated with applications and were backlogged. Management then chewed me out again for sending rubbish to the credit team and wasting their time. When I asked what they wanted me to do moving forward, I was told figure it out or find a new job. That's when my enthusiasm for the job died and my attention turned towards malicious compliance. Now part of my job was taking a deposit when customers came to sign their lease contracts. The finance lady, FL, that dealt with and tracked the payments and deposits from customers worked in another state. Thank God. She was a nightmare to deal with. She wouldn't answer your questions as it wasn't her job to teach or instruct. Wouldn't respond to your emails or voicemail. She rarely answered her phone as she was always busy, unless it was to ask for something she wanted. She would cut you off as you responded to her questions once she had heard what she wanted to. She could never be corrected and was just a PITA. She talked down to me when she first told me of the process, as if I had never been to a bank nor knew how they operated. FL, if you take cash it must never leave your possession until you bank it. Do you understand? If it's not deposited you must have it at all times. Tell me you understand. Me, yep. FL, don't yep me. This is serious. I don't need stupid people cocking up something so simple. Me, okay, I got it, I'll do as you say. I had to deposit the cash into the company account the day it was received. To make things more tedious I couldn't just do it as a lump sum, it had to be individual deposits matching the amounts customers gave me. This was really painful when I couldn't get to the bank in time and had to use the ATM to each deposit. The ATM deposit takes 3 to 5 minutes for each transaction, and the closest one was 15 minutes in the wrong direction when leaving for the day. It was extra annoying when I had already stayed back a couple hours for a customer then had to lose another 35 minutes before starting off for home. After getting chewed out I stopped doing the deposits the same day. I did them every other day then at the end of each week. I'd take an extra long lunch to stop by the bank and make the deposit over the counter. The teller would eye roll when they saw me because of how tedious it was for them as well. Nothing happened for 2 months and I never heard anything from head office about it. Then one Friday I left work at lunch as I had an appointment in the afternoon. I stopped by the bank on the way. The line was huge and I was in a crunch to make my appointment. I get to the teller and he punches in the account number and tells me it's been closed. I get him to check the account number again and he confirms what he first said. I'm running late as it is, so I figure I'll bring it up with head office on Monday. As I pull up to office on Monday, there's a lovely huge realtor sign on the building saying it's on the market. I asked my other colleagues when that went up and they said it was done late Friday. Calls and emails to head office go unanswered. More cars go out that week and more deposits are taken. Management finally reach out at the end of the week and say that the company is looking for a new location for our office and it's business as usual. I try to bring up the issue with deposits and get shut down instantly and referred to FL as that's her area. I send her 2 emails a day about it and even CC management and even print them out as a fallback as I've been bitten before. I also notice that my salary comes from a different bank now. After 2 months an email comes across from management that they are closing all offices at the end of the week. Attached to the email is details of my severance. It clearly states that all new and existing customers need to be directed to contact head office. Any contracts/cars that are to go out this week will still go out, and that I am specifically not to tell them that the office will be closing. Friday rolls around and some hired security come to watch us clean out our desks. As I finish packing my stuff into a box, a customer comes in to collect their car and sign the lease documents. I take their deposit and put it into the now full cash box that has held all the other deposits for the last couple months. I call FL to ask about the money and what I'm supposed to do with it. To my shock, she answers her phone. Me, hey, about the deposits taken today. FL, oh my god, don't tell me you've lost them. Me, what? No. They are here with me, but. FL, then what's the problem? Are you stupid? Do as I said and don't let them out of your possession, or I'll have your ass. Now I'm busy, ask someone else your dumb questions and don't bother me. Click. I pull the receiver away from my face and stare at it in disbelief. How could she be such an ass on my last day? That bitch. I hang up the phone and look at the cash box. Then I smile and I put it in with the rest of my belongings and walk out, ushered by security. I never heard from them again. Not driving through, the drive-through out. My whole defiant attitude started a few days ago when I got hit by a car. See, I got a bike everywhere because I haven't had a car since '09. That was during the Great Recession when I lost everything, thus so I've learned to live without a car and just wheel around. The other day I committed the grievously huge, carnal, bike sin of cycling on the wrong side of the road. Yes, I'm a bike rebel, I know, but it was on a tiny residential street that was more of a very long driveway in and out of my trailer hood. So I'm on the left side of the road, US, because up ahead, I want to turn left. Some days, I'm such a social deviant that I ride on the sidewalk too. Up goes a collective gasp, but today, I was just facing traffic in preparation for turning the corner. Also, on that corner is a little family-run store where the denizens of the trailer park and I shop for food, snacks and beer. However, I wasn't going to stop and shop today. I was headed to work, and to the train, which would take me to work. Pedaling past the parking lot driveway, I observed that leaving the store was an auto, just barely coasting to what I assumed was going to be a full stop before he entered the road. So, I kept cycling up the curb to right in front of him, where it was too late to dodge, weave or believe that this guy wasn't braking. He'd been looking to his left for oncoming cars, and seeing none, was just going to breeze onto the street, when bam, he hit a bicycle. Yeah, that's just a lowercase bam, cause it was barely a tap that nearly knocked me over, but that was better than going under his bumper. I was fine, barely bruised, plus, I didn't want to miss my train, so I accepted his sorry about that, and cycled away. But later at work my friend said, I should have writhed on the ground in mock agony, screaming, my leg. My back. My neck. Arg. But I don't roll that way. This brings us to today, just hours ago, where I'm still feeling like indestructible titanium for having been assaulted with a deadly weapon, a car, and living to tell the tale, but hungry too. See, now it was lunchtime at work, so I decided to bite to ye royal burger joint to feed my impenetrable armor. Nowadays, the place wasn't very busy because folks couldn't sit and eat anymore. I figured the quickest and easiest thing to do was to go to the drive-thru, where there was only one car. Having done this before, I thought this would be a snap, and rolled right up to the order window on my bicycle. "You can't order here," snapped the manager, "or maybe cashier gunning for employee of the month, you have to come inside." WTF, like I said, it's not like they were busy, and she was wanting to hand me over to another cashier to keep her line down. No, the place was empty, SHE was the only cashier, and there were TWO people running the restaurant. She and the cook, however, SHE wanted me to come inside and order there because reasons. So, I did as she ordered, but reminder, I'm a rebel. Cycling around to the front, I rolled up the sidewalk ramp, pushed open the glass doors and rode to the cashier counter, still pedaling on my bike. "One burger please." Gobsmacked, she actually rang me up and gave it to me. Yum. The awful Librian. I posted this originally on r/entitled people, but another lovely user thought it might fit in well here, and I agreed, so here it is. As always, all the names in this story are fake. For a while when I was kid and eventually a teenager, I lived in a small town near nothing. The heart and soul of this town was the local library run by an amazing lady named Hannah. Hannah understood the town was rural and poor and did everything in her power to cater to the town residents. There was no after-school program for the elementary school, so Hannah opened the doors of the library even though the building was incredibly small. The nearest movie theater was miles on miles away. This took place when Netflix was only a DVD service and expensive for this town, so Hannah made sure the library had a huge selection of VHSs and DVDs. Hannah would listen when us avid readers when we wanted to read a particular book and buy it. If the book was part of a series, she bought the whole series. Hannah also started a summer program that would have rivaled the free summer programs of any large town. And so many more things. Unfortunately, Hannah's mom got sick and had to move back home halfway across the country, and the library board hired a woman named Ruth Derriere. The board believed because Mrs. Derriere was from a town or two away, she would be a good fit for our community. Mrs. Derriere was not good for the library, in fact. Mrs. Derriere decided to purge all of the books and items from the library she deemed impure, such as The Lord of the Rings, the whole manga section, non-religious self-help books, and the majority of the media collection. Mrs. Derriere also reinstated library fines up to and including the fines that should have been collected years prior, but Hannah had never cared about. Mrs. Derriere also demanded everyone under the age of 18 call her Mrs. Derriere, not Ruth, because respect. Though these were only a few things Mrs. Derriere did. To say the library fell apart quickly after Mrs. Derriere took charge would be a massive understatement. I loved the library and felt personally attacked, so I started a campaign to save the library. I begged, pleaded, and complained to my mother until she cracked and joined the library board, and even eventually became the library board president. Mom was able to put a stop Mrs. Derriere's purging. I learned how to operate the library's very poor website to make interlibrary loans, and taught other people so we could read whole series and so on. Mrs. Derriere knew what I was doing and hated me for it, but I continued on. The only thing that Mrs. Derriere could hold over me by the end was the I was under 18, and my mom had taught me respect, so I referred to her as Mrs. Derriere. However, on my 18th birthday, a Saturday, I woke up early, got dressed, grabbed the books I needed to return, and walked happily to the library. I waited line as Mrs. Derriere berated a few elementary school kids for returning books late, and revoked a little old lady's right to use the library computers, because she asked too many questions. When it was finally my turn at the counter, I said loudly and clearly, "G mornin' Ruth." All the color drained from Ruth's face, and then it got extraordinarily red, so before she could try and berate me, the next words out of my mouth were, "It's my 18th birthday today." As news and stories do in small towns, what I had done got around quickly. It soon became a habit of everyone turning 18 to traps into the library at some point that day, and say hello to Ruth. The tradition carried on even after I moved away, till Ruth quit several years later for reasons I do not know. I'm so sorry this got so long. I hope all of you are having a lovely day/night. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.